This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be taking a look at the SCOTTeVEST Pack Windbreaker, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So the main material on this jacket is polyester. It's super lightweight and kind of has a little bit of a wind jacket feel to it. Not super durable, but we haven't had any issues so far with holes or snags or anything like that. And it does offer some water resistance, so if you get caught in a light rain, it's going to protect you from the water. But if it does start raining harder, or if you're out for an extended period of time, you're going to start having water seep through the material. And also through like the zipper, which isn't water resistant, and the seams as well. We do have up here a hood that hides away with these hook and loop fasteners here. 3, one on each side and then one in the middle. And this does have adjusters on it, so you can adjust it down if it were to get really windy or start raining or something like that. You can kind of protect your face a little bit as well. And then we have cuffs here. So they're just a little bit of elastic. I wish it had an adjuster like the hood does, so you could really cinch it down in bad weather, but they're pretty tight and they haven't started to loosen at all. We have two front pockets here, both that have a little cover over them, which is nice for weather resistance. In this front right pocket here, we have a lot more going on than in this one. We have a water bottle holder here, which is a piece of elastic that kind of stretches out like that. I've just been using a Hydro Flask in there. It fits nicely. You can fit a little bit bigger than this, but this was the good size, at least width-wise, to not really bother me inside the pocket. And then we've also got this key clip here, so this just kind of stretches out like that, so you can open your door or at the office or whatever. It is a little bit, if you have a few keys on there, there's not really somewhere to place the keys where they're sturdy, so they did jangle a bit, but not a huge deal, and I really like how much this stretches, and the metal key clip is nice as well. And then just down here in the pocket, we have a small little liner pocket with a hook and loop fastener on the top, which I think is meant just for coin and change and stuff like that, but I actually used it for an air tag. So if you have a bunch of valuables in here, you can hide the air tag in there, and then if someone were to take it or you lost it, you could find it. And then over here on this side, we have a similarly sized pocket, and these front two pockets actually both don't have a topper on it, so you can go almost all the way up here, and then your finger can poke out there. So if you had a pair of corded headphones or something like that, you could run them through there and then have your phone or iPod or something in here. This pocket doesn't have as much going on though. We just have one small little pocket again. This one's a bit bigger, so I didn't really have a great use for this pocket, but it's nice to have a smaller place to lock things down, because this pocket, as you saw, is just a huge pocket, and it goes all the way up, so you can really stuff a ton of gear in these front hand pockets. So moving on to the interior, we do have some mesh on the inside to keep you cool. Overall, I did find this jacket was pretty breathable, but once the temperature got above probably like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, I started to be a bit warm, and that was with a backpack on, and that's kind of expected, I think, for a jacket like this. And I couldn't take it off because I had so much stuff inside the pockets, so I think that's important to note. But moving into those pockets, we do have a crazy number of pockets here. So on this top side over here on the left flap, we've got a little headphone pocket, which I think is designed for older headphones like this, like corded headphones, which I still do use a fair amount because I have an iPad with a bunch of music on it still. But if you have like AirPods, and you tried to put them in here, the case obviously won't fit, and if you just put them loose, they're just kind of roaming around in there, which isn't the most ideal thing, but you could throw a lot of different things in there, like a flash drive or just like a small pen. And below that, we have a stylus pocket, which I just have a pen in right now because I don't actively use a stylus, but it is wide enough. You can see that there's a bunch of wiggle room there to fit a stylus or a larger pen, or really whatever you want to throw inside there. You could probably put a cheese stick in there if you often get hungry. But just to the side of that, we have this little phone pocket here, and this is like a really thin mesh, so you probably can't see it super well because it's so far, but you can touch through that and you can see through that. So while you're wearing it, you can like look at your notifications, and in theory you can kind of mess with them a little bit. It didn't really work super well in practice for me because I do have range of motion issues in this arm. So there's a phone pocket on this side as well. So whichever way I went to do it, it was kind of hard for me to do it, and it's just a little bit awkward to try and like do it while it's like in your cape area. It's just a little bit awkward, but really nice to have that opportunity to see your notifications without pulling your phone out. And before we go further down, I should note that, as I said, this is the same pocket over here on this side with that same mesh. And we do have a headphone pocket over here as well, and then a pen pocket. And this pen pocket is the same as the stylus or whatever pocket over here, and so is the headphone pocket. So these are all the same, whether they're marketed to be the same thing or not, they are identical. But moving further down On this side, we've got the tablet pocket. Yes, tablet pocket. You can slide a full-size tablet inside of here, and it's just nuts to me that you can do that. And when you walk around, it's not terribly uncomfortable so long as the jacket is, equally weighted on both sides, but you can kind of notice that there's something inside the jacket. And below that, another huge pocket here, and then we have if you're traveling, you can stow like a book in here, or like your boarding pass or any of your documents, especially if you have a tablet in there. That's going to kind of give it some space or make it more rigid so you don't have to worry about it folding so much. Then we've got just a little ID pocket right here, so you can throw your ID or your credit card in there. That one's a little awkward for me as well, because it's not like, oh, you can see through it, so I can show you my ID through my jacket. I guess that could work, but it's just a little bit awkward. And if it's a credit card and you don't want people to be able to see the numbers, obviously, or I guess you could turn it around, but a little bit awkward, but nice to have a place for it, especially if you're going to use this instead of carrying a traditional wallet. And then if you move over to this side over here, we've got a sunglasses pocket here. If you pop that open, I've just got a pair of knockaround sunglasses in their case in here. And then this actually has a microfiber cloth here, and it is attached with a little piece of elastic. This isn't the nicest microfiber cloth that I've used, and it actually does have like a little diagram on the back here that explains, where everything's supposed to go. Not super detailed, but nice to have in case you forget. And something to note about, I guess, all of these pockets, but it really came to the forefront of my mind when I was using this as a sunglasses pocket, is there isn't any protection for your glasses here. So if you just throw it in there, and even if you were to go give someone a hug and it ended up being like a really big hug, someone you haven't seen since before COVID, you could break your glasses. That's obviously not ideal, but the thing is there's so much space. Like in the iPad pocket, you could put an iPad with a case in there because there's space for it. You could put your glasses with a case in there because there's space for it. So just something to note if you're putting more valuable stuff in here. And a good segue into the bucket below that, which is a camera pocket. So this is a very large pocket here again. And right now I just have a little Canon point and shoot stowed inside here, but again, no case on this, so you'd have to be pretty careful. This is a pretty rugged camera, but you just have to be careful with whatever you stow inside here. And then there actually is, so this is actually supposed to be a memory pocket as well, which I'm not super sure what that means, but there is a little hook and loop fastener here on this side to divide this pocket. So this pocket, there's a little bit of space from here to here, and then from here to here, but this hook and loop fastener doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So whatever is over here, if it's small enough, it could kind of work its way over here. And then one last thing inside this pocket is this little hook and loop pocket here. It's similar to the one that's in the front pocket, but this one is a perfect size for like an SD card, but there again isn't anything to really protect that. So if you just shot a bunch of photos you're really excited about and you put it inside there, just makes me a little bit worried about whether or not the SD card is going to make it through the journey. So when it comes to packability, there actually is one more pocket here on the back side of the jacket. Again, it's got this nice gusset, but it opens up and you could stow something in here if you wanted to. It's a little bit awkward on your back, but it's actually most useful as these stuff sacks. You kind of just start throwing the jacket inside of there. Obviously, if you can, you want to make sure you have everything out of the jacket before you stuff it in here, but I actually did it once with glasses in it, and I just did it, there's a pen in there, I felt it when I was doing it. But this is a reversible YKK zipper, so it just flips over like that. And then as you saw, that was actually pretty easy to do. I think the pocket or stuff sack is actually bigger than what it needs to be. But this is a good size, pretty big for a packable jacket. I guess it's not really a packable jacket as much as it is a jacket that just happens to be packable. On the exterior here, we have this little clip here, so you can hook it inside of something, and we have these loops here as well if you want to hook on a carabiner. This is also a perfect size to use as a pillow if you don't want to bring a travel pillow. This will be a nice little, sleeper on the airplane. So if you were to just kind of wear this like a regular jacket without stowing, your iPad and stuff inside here, it really fits as you'd expect it to. It's very comfortable. I do wish, again, like I said, that these cuffs were more adjustable, but that's, just kind of a really small nitpicky thing. I think it looks nice. I don't think you would really realize that it had so many pockets in it. Like I've just got my phone inside here, my wallet, and then a pen that I still haven't taken out of there. And it just fits very comfortably, but now I'm gonna show you what it looks like and feels like when you have a bunch of stuff inside here. So I now have the iPad and the paperback book and the water bottle stowed inside here. And I'm not sure if you can really see it super well, but I feel very lumpy and I look very lumpy. And I also kind of feel like that kid from Recess, the TV show, who has all the stuff inside of his jacket. It just feels kind of claustrophobic. But again, I can fit an iPad, a book, and a water bottle in here. That's awesome, especially if you don't like having things in your hands or your regular pockets or carrying around another bag. And it can feel a little bit heavy on one side or the other, depending how you pack it. Like if you just had the iPad in here, it feels a little bit lopsided. So my personal favorite travel jacket is the Patagonia Storm 10. And whereas this is a completely different kind of jacket, this has kind of nudged its way in for specific travel use cases for me. So the Patagonia Storm 10 is extraordinarily weather resistant, especially because it has these AquaGuard zippers on both the main zipper and the secondary zippers. It also packs down extraordinarily small. It packs down, it'll fit in the palm of your hand. But you really are limited with what you can put inside these zippers. As someone who's always traveling with a camera, or even just when I'm going anywhere, I have a camera in my pocket or in my sling or whatever, I can fit inside this jacket what I normally would have to put inside of a sling. So if I wear this jacket, I can put, you know, my GoPro, I can bring my point and shoot camera, I can bring a film camera. I was even able to fit my Fuji X-T3 inside of this without being uncomfortable. So if I'm not super worried about getting wet, like if I don't think it's gonna rain, or if I'm not going somewhere where it rains a ton, the SCOTTeVEST is a great option. And to be honest, it packs down not nearly as small as the Patagonia Storm 10, but for the most part, it's kind of like a brick, so it slid into my travel pack very well. I was honestly very surprised how well I was able to fit it inside of a day pack and a travel pack, even though it doesn't pack down super small. So with this, you're not getting that water resistance and you're not getting the really small form factor. So if you really are trying to save space, this is not for you. But if you really like not having to carry a small day pack or a sling, you can fit so much gear inside of here, which you can't really do with a jacket like the Storm 10. So there you have it, the SCOTTeVEST Pack Windbreaker. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.